Voters will weigh in on constitutional amendments next Tuesday. In Kansas, Amendment 1 would create a legislative veto. State lawmakers would be able to pass a measure allowing them to strike down a governor's veto, all with a simple majority vote. Amendment 2 would require counties to maintain a sheriff as an elected person. Counties would not be able to appoint a sheriff or get rid of that position altogether.
Missouri voters would decide several amendments. Amendment 1 would give the state treasurer more freedom to invest the state's money to earn a larger return. Amendment 3 would legalize recreational marijuana. Amendment 4 would require Kansas City to spend 25% of its revenue on the police department. And Amendment 5 would create a Missouri Department of the National Guard.
And for the first time in 20 years, Missouri voters will decide if the state constitution should be overhauled.
KMBC 9's Andy Alcock tells us what's at stake.
If voters approve the convention, it will give those delegates the power to submit an entirely new constitution or vote on a series of amendments. Here's how a convention would work. There would be elections to choose 68 delegates from partisan state Senate districts and also 15 nonpartisan at-large delegates in a statewide vote. Now, that convention would have the ultimate power to amend or redo Missouri's constitution. The governor can't veto the decisions, and the General Assembly has no authority over what happens either. In the last 20 years, Missouri voters have amended the state's constitution 26 times. Some of those amendments include making English the state's official language, outlawing same-sex marriage, and legalizing medical marijuana. In those instances, signatures had to be gathered to put those issues on the ballot. A constitutional convention would not require petitions to make changes. In 2002, Missouri voters overwhelmingly rejected calling a constitutional convention. Andy Alcock, KMBC 9 News.
Missouri's new voting law requires voters to use a government-issued photo ID. Now, that could be a driver's license, current obviously, a current military ID, or a current passport. School IDs or utility bills will no longer be accepted. People without an ID can still vote. Election officials will have to compare the signature on your provisional ballot with the signature on your voter registration. And if the signatures match, the vote will be counted.
We're expecting to see a higher voter turnout this election cycle. In Kansas, there have been 21,000 ballots cast in person. That's compared to this date in 2018 when 20,000 ballots had been cast in person. KMBC 9's Michael Mahoney spoke with the Secretary of State, Scott Schwab, about voting trends this year.
The dynamics of an election in 2022 are very different than they were, say, 4 years ago.
They are, and very different than 2 years ago because we don't have the PPE and the concerns with the pandemic outbreak that we had in 2020. And we're getting a lot more poll workers with a lot of the eyes and criticisms of how elections are done. A lot of folks want to educate themselves, so they're wanting to be poll workers, which we encourage.
Are you getting a lot of activists to do poll workers?
We get some, and a lot of times it's a good experience because it opens their eyes to see, oh, there's not voter suppression. Oh, there's not voter cheating or fraud. Every now and then you get someone who tries to open a door or video or break the law thinking they're trying to catch someone doing a crime when in fact they're committing one. And those folks are the ones that are asked to go home.
And how often does that happen?
Oh, not that often. It's just loud when it happens.
Just loud when it happens. In Kansas, the deadline for in-person advance voting is noon on November 7th. Missouri now allows no excuse in-person absentee voting through 5 p.m. on November 7th as well.
You can find more information on the candidates and issues in this election, as well as important voting information, by checking out our Commitment 2022 election guide at KMBC.com.
It is right on the front page. You can also download the KMBC 9 News app.